Welcome to another video in my channel. It's Nofix here, and today let's give an answer to the question I get often in my comments, or in Discord or in game. What's better, critical damage or bonus damage? As you know, I always say that critical damage is better for PvE, and bonus damage is better for PvP. But why? Let's dive into the numbers. So let's compare two builds in the best possible scenario, okay? Right now, this is my PvE build. I'm using critical damage, and I have 34.5 critical damage, but we need to add an extra 15 for Blood Hunter, so 49.5. And I have 44 bonus damage. Notice that I'm not even using Piercing Strike or not counting Nature's Power, okay? So this will be one of the scenarios. The other scenario is already defined here, which will be a min-max bonus damage build. And with such a build, you will have 9% critical damage, because you get this 9% from the material effect by using leather, and 3% from the mastering the crossbow, if I recall correctly. So it's 9%, okay? We cannot make it 18, for example, by using an extra 9% from the Chaos Harving artifact, because as we are min-maxing bonus damage, we need to use 4 pieces of the Deathless 1 artifacts, okay? So counting Piercing Strike, counting Nature's Power, counting every possible way of boosting bonus damage, using Brutus Slayer, using the Twilight Shoes, using bonus damage in every accessory except the necklace and the earring and the bell. So basically the bracelet and the rings. After all that, using the weapon synergies to use bonus damage, which in my opinion is not worth it. It's better if you use the stats, but whatever. The max bonus damage you can get is about 321 bonus damage, okay? So we have in one hand we have 49.15 critical damage and 44 bonus damage, and on the other hand we have 9% critical damage and 321 bonus damage. Basically, using Gemini, I calculated different scenarios: a regular attack, using a skill, which in this case was a strafing, and assuming a heavy attack. And this is the summary. As you can see, the critical build always have much better damage, and it increases as the wider or the better is the scaling of the skill. So for a regular hit, the difference was only 124, okay? But for a skill, it was already 245. But with a heavy attack, it's already 766. And if the skill was not strafing, was Zephyr, or was decisive sniping, because at the end of the day, strafing only has a 130% of base damage. Zephyr has 520. The decisive sniping have up to 1184. So the scaling increases and the difference will be much bigger in such a scenario. But I prefer to keep strafing just to try to keep the numbers more similar, let's say, or more fair. And still the difference is so big. So that's why for PvE, critical is much better. Now, what happens for PvP? For PvP, it depends on the build and the knowledge of your opponents. And what do I mean by this? A lot of people, for example, run DPS classes with no defense. In such case, still critical will be much better because it will be the same as if you were attacking a monster. Okay? What's the difference? The difference is that good people, good DPS, because we can assume that tanks and seekers are doing this, but good DPS are building critical damage resistance. And this is pretty significant. For example, look at me in game with my PvP build. I have, as I said earlier, 34.5% critical damage, which can be 49.5% when Blood Hunter is stuck. But look at this, I have 31.4 critical damage resistance. I'm basically negating my critical damage. If I were attacking myself, I will not be doing a lot of damage. So this is the difference. When you face people that know how to build a class, critical damage is not that good. By contrast, you cannot build that much damage reduction as a DPS, okay? For example, my damage reduction here is 15. And I cannot really build more damage reduction as a DPS. I can do this as a tank, as a healer, because I don't need other things. But as a DPS, I cannot do that because all the items providing damage reduction are more focused into these things, tanks and healer. So that's why bonus damage is a much better stat for PvP, because it has less counter. Critical damage can be basically negated as long as you know how to build for it. But damage reduction doesn't have any counter if you are a DPS. So this is it. This is the summary of this video. For PvE, always critical damage. For PvP, my recommendation is bonus damage. But if you want to do what I'm doing, just use the same build for both. It's also good. Just notice that the more competent people you are dealing with, the less damage you are going to do, because you are going to face people with a lot of critical damage resistance and you don't have a lot of critical damage. For example, this is speaking about a scout. For example, if I was playing as infiltrator, the daggers give a lot of critical damage. So it will be different. Sorry, what changed? Infiltrator. Now. The difference will be different because now it's almost 63, sorry, and we need to add 15, so 75%. So that's still a good difference, 75 against 36. So in that case, critical damage still has a value. But as a scout, for PvP, it's bonus damage in the best stat. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.